Before we start weaving our Kilim, we need to build a few rows of material, which is also known as a Kilim. This will serve as a protective layer for our final piece. I will now show you how to make this homemade tool to help pass the yarn through the shed. It is typically used in weaving hand-knotted rugs to pass the weft. I'll call it the weft tool going forward. All you need is a coat hanger and a pair of pliers. Cut a piece about 1 foot long. Make sure to smooth out both ends of the piece, otherwise it will damage the warps as it goes through the shed. I'm using a sharpening stone to smooth out the ends. Bend one end just far enough to make a half loop, about 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimeter. Make a bigger loop at the other end to help with ease of handling. Get a piece of the warp material about 4 feet or 1.2 meters. Tie it to the right 2 warps. You can start from the left or right. It is entirely up to you. I'm starting from the right. Just a refresher on how the heddle stick operates. When the shed stick is up, it creates this shed. You can pass the weft tool through it. When the shed stick is down, it creates another shed to pass the weft tool. One other thing, make sure the strings that make up the selvage are out of the way and behind the shed stick. Make sure the shed stick is either all the way up or down. It really does not matter where you start. Pass the weft tool as shown with the half loop on the right, so that you can loop a piece of material and drag across to the other end. Do not pull too tight on the weft material, otherwise it will pull the selvage in and your piece won't look right. I'm using the comb tool to help settle the weft material. I'm not using much force at all, just enough to tamp the material down. You can even use a large fork. There is a right amount of weft material which can be added to the warps for it to look right. If you put too much weft material, the piece will be wavy. If you don't put enough weft material, then it will get stiff and not look right. How much weft is good enough is something you need to figure out on your own. You'll know when it looks right. The thickness of your warp and weft material and how far apart the warps are changes what is the right amount of weft. The best way that I have found is to pay attention to the angle which is created by the weft. As you change this angle, you are changing the amount of weft material being added to the warps. Make sure not to pull tightly on the edge, as it will force the piece not to be straight. Start with a 45-degree angle to begin with and see how it does. If there's too much material, then reduce the angle. If there's not enough weft, then increase the angle. Keep experimenting and be patient. Once you figure this out, it'll become natural each time. Again, please be patient. Once you figure out the right angle for your piece, you need to stay consistent as you go across the loom. Move the shed stick. If it's up, you move it down and vice versa. Pass the weft tool through the shed to grab the material from left to right. Use the same angle as you go across the loom. Again, do not pull too tight on the weft material. It will pull the selvage in and your piece won't look right. We continue this process by going back and forth. 5 rows should be plenty. Once you're done, do one more row, but this time only go a small distance and leave the weft hanging for now. The last thing we need to do is prepare our selvage, which will protect the edge of your piece. Take 4 warp strings on both sides and either tie a piece of string or use a small zip tie to tie them together. I would do it on 2 spots on both sides. This is a good time to take care of any unevenness in your weft. It will help keep your Kilim as straight as possible. Weaving is a skill. It is something that you can learn and get better at over time. Be open to making mistakes and not getting it right the first time. The more patient you are, the more enjoyable and the faster you can learn. Remember, there are very few things you can do that can't be undone or fixed. On the next video, we will start to weave our Kilim. Good luck, and thank you for watching this video.